Don't follow the crowd. It will cost you. Don't follow the crowd. It will cost you. Peer pressure is something that a lot of people fall to. Teenagers, you guys in your young age, you're going to follow everybody. And truly, sometimes we can look at you guys as teens and say, well, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you just do better? But truly, there's a lot of adults that's fallen to peer pressure. And it's more so called the bystander effect. Everybody stands by and watch something happen, and nobody's going to say anything because, well, I'm not going to say anything because nobody else is. And so you live in a society where truly the people that you should be looking up to and have an example, they are a little shaky themselves and they're falling into peer pressure. But this is where you have to realize you got to make some individual choices for yourself. I know these days it's so easy to go and follow everybody else versus going against the grain. It's better to follow everyone else downstream rather than going upstream. But you know, when you follow everybody, whatever their outcome is, if you're following them, if you're following somebody and someone is leading you wherever they go, you're sure to fall into that. So if someone does things and they end up going to jail, you can end up going to jail for that. Someone fall into something and suddenly they're in some sort of a situation where their character or their reputation gets messed up, yours could get messed up too because you were hanging with them. You know, they say birds of a feather flock together. So just be mindful of that. I know that you may be young. You may say, you don't understand what I'm going through or whatever, blah, 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 blah. I know there's a lot of things. And I know technology and the way things are today, things are different. Being teased and being cast out can be a little different today because, back in my time growing up, all we had were like beepers and the payphone and the house phone. The most we could do was do three-way on the phone, or caller ID was the most thing that was going on during my time. Okay, but now you have technology. Maybe you're part of a group, maybe you play video games with your friends. There's so many things that connects you that if you're no longer friends, and you may be on Google Duo, all these different things. So if you're no longer friends, it's like you feel it because everybody's connected with one another. If someone says that you're a bad person, they can go to Facebook, they can go to Instagram, whatever, say things about you, Twitter, all this stuff, whatever it is, at the very least, they can just send a text from where they are to all your friends, and then suddenly you're on the outside looking in, or you're left holding the bag. But you just have to be in a place to have your mind made up that you're going to be different. I said this in another video. Whatever you're going through in your life right now is not always going to be. High school is not going to define you for the rest of your life. You got to go to college. You're going to meet different people. Okay, but if you still have that mindset of, let me follow the leader, you're going to go through the same things over and over again into your adulthood. College is not going to define you if you make good decisions. They may say that you're a nerd, they may say that you're odd or whatever, but guess what? You're going to only be with these people for a few years, and then you're going to move on to the next thing. So it is hard to make the right choices, but a lot of times, guys, there's other people that want to do what you're doing, but they don't have anybody else there to have an example to say, okay, I can stand with this person and we're going to do it together. And sometimes you're going to be by yourself, but you have to think about what's going on, what the person's doing. When I was coming up, it was like I had friends that they were already, at least that's what they told me, they were already having sex, and I was in high school and I wasn't doing anything. Okay. And so between junior high school and high school, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I was just too scared to do it. But what I did, I wanted them to think that, I was doing something. So I went and just, I made me a little hickey. And how I did that was back then, I got like some ink, some dark ink. I got some of that. And then I got like a little bit of lipstick and did it lightly so it could have that little red and dark look to get that little bruise. And girl, yeah, I got a hickey. And then, girl, what happened? I told them this whole story. That didn't happen. It wasn't good to lie. No, it wasn't good to lie. But you know what, guys? I was going to tell them a story. I was going to do it. But to some degree, I fell to the peer pressure because I still shouldn't have told them that. But at the same time, I wasn't ain't really gonna do that. So, sometimes you have your own way of doing things. For me, I knew I was not going to go and do this that my friends were doing, but at the same time, just for my age at that time, I did what I need to do to still seem like I was hanging, but I wasn't going to do that. Okay. Other times I followed peer pressure and went out there and was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna cut school, went cutting school with my friends, did it a few times, until one day, while we hanging out in the train station, I saw my dad. And he was getting on the train on the opposite end. So he just gave me that look. Our eyes made four. He gave me the look like, you're dead. You're absolutely dead. And then he just got on the subway and went the other way. Of course, I was immediately nauseated. I felt like I had an out-of-body experience, and I went back to school. I was sweating on the back of my neck. I just went to school. Whatever was left of school, I'm going to go. All right? So peer pressure can lead you to do a lot of things, but ironically, guys, we're in different times. We're in different times now. When I was growing up and where y'all growing up at now, the times are very different. But you don't have to follow peer pressure, guys. I know it's hard, but it has to start with somebody which say, hey, I'm not going to do that. Or, hey, I can't make it. You don't know what to say. You just think of something. I can't go for whatever reason. Eventually they'll stop asking you. And other times you're going to be faced with standing there and saying, nah, I just don't want to do that for whatever reason. And truly enough, after the initial shock and they're teasing you or whatever, one thing they have to do is respect you. They have to respect you for the fact that you stood up. And you'll find that there'll be other people like yourself that want to stand up and want to say no. And no matter what you go through right now, no matter how you may be teased right now, hold on, hold on, hold on. Because I'm trying to tell you, you're not always going to be there. Life is going to change. It's going to evolve, and you're going to move to different things and different places in your life. And you're going to be glad that you stood up, because as an adult, you're going to be doing that too. I will share some other stories at another time about how I stood up for other people and how I stood up for myself. And I did it regardless of who it was. And I was in the military. I retired from the military, and I'll talk to y'all about those things too. Had great times in the military, met great people, but just like anything, whether you're in the military or you're not in the military, you're going to meet people, you're going to meet good people, and you're going to meet people who are jerks. And I was willing to stand up to the jerks. So guys, you stay encouraged, and thank you so much for coming to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, and you guys will be seeing some other content in the near future.